Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Nap Bros podcast. We are back again, finishing part three of sovereignty.
Part three. Are you gonna post the other two parts?
We already did.
Oh no. Okay,
What are
I'm
you
sorry.
talking about? No.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant like part three. Yeah, you know what I meant.
The thing that Andrew's talking about, just in case you're not aware, is we've actually recorded this 3 times, and we have yet to actually talk about this particular chapter. However, we are going to try and talk about this chapter now. This chapter is chapter 19. It is courage. It is the last one in our discussion. And so,
Basically, I'm gonna sum it up because I've summed it up twice, like we talked about. Courage. That's it. No, I'm just joking. Mick was talking about how now that you have all the tools you need, what will you do with the knowledge? We have the courage to step up and act upon it, or we just keep on being your normal self, and then at that point, what was the point of even reading the book? Do you have an issue with looking like a fool? And what I mean by that was when I feel the most foolish is when you know how someone's explaining something to you, and you're all like, "Yeah, I understand," but really you don't have any clue what the heck they're talking about. And then to have to go back, but yeah, I didn't know what you meant by that. Can you tell me? But that's the point. You don't want to feel you just don't know something. You know what I mean?
I feel like the older I get,
For instance, what a crescent wrench was. You went and grabbed the wrong thing instead of just asking what it was. I did the same thing, but even still now, I still have the same issues.
see, I would say so going and grabbing the crescent wrench was something that I did back when I was 16. But now at 35, I feel like
you had to be 18 to work there.
No. It wasn't working any particular place. It was working with a guy. Like I was basically doing an odd job, like basically a side gig kind of thing. He was just paying me under the table. I wasn't paying taxes and stuff like that. But no.
Allegedly.
No. I mean that definitely everybody knows that happens. But no, now I feel like there are times where somebody will say something, and even in the midst of a group chat, for instance, somebody says a word that I may not know, or says something about especially in relationship to teaching, that I'm like, I have no idea what the heck they're talking about. I'll send it in the group chat. I have no problem. I like because one of the things, and I guess just because I don't necessarily want to compare it to being older. I don't think it could be partially because I'm older, but it could also be because I'm a teacher. And as a teacher, you kind of understand that sometimes students are going to ask questions that you're like, I didn't realize that you didn't understand that. Like, I thought you understood everything that I was saying and that I was teaching you something additional, but this one particular part you don't get. And I'm glad that you asked that question, because since you don't get that part, you're not going to get the whole thing. And so, if there's something along the lines of that, and to me, again, and going back to this idea of courage, I don't necessarily see courage as an issue that I have per se, in relationship to actually doing stuff and quote unquote looking like a fool, or even receiving criticism from people about certain things. So yeah, one of the things that I like that he presents with the vision is, or the introduction is that people, men have a vision of what they want for the future, or at least they have an idea of a new reality um, that they're trying to get to, but it's worthless to just have an idea or a vision if you're not actually willing to do the work that's required to get there. And that takes courage, and that is what we're talking about today. And so, what visions or ideas are there that we aren't acting on, or that you are not acting on, or what kind of, yeah, what are some visions or ideas that you're not actively working on?
Working on my marriage.
Okay.
I have a plethora of people being willing to interject what they think I should and should not be doing.
Okay. So
and
is
so
that preventing you from
that
working on your marriage?
no, I still work on it, but it does lead to not just doubts, but like leads to um I don't know how to describe it. Leads to like issues, I guess.
Okay.
Leads to like just myself just overthinking things. If that makes sense.
Okay, because they're trying to interject their own ideas. It leads
Yeah,
you to
pretty
feel
much.
more self conscious of what you're doing, and not having the courage to do the things that you should be doing in the marriage.
Right.
Do you feel
That
like
would
there
be
are certain things
accurate.
that you're wasting your time on because
Uh,
and
yeah.
not that you're
I
not
mean,
like
every
YouTube, not
day.
like entertainment, not because of laziness, but out of do you feel like you're wasting your time because you don't have the courage to go and do the thing that you should be doing?
No, no. Well, not sometimes. Sometimes.
Like, do
When
you
it
have an
comes to like
example
the
of that? Like what that
business.
would be?
Well, like I said, when it comes to the business, actually executing, I'm more or less afraid to make a mistake, so that I don't make an effort, to do it.
Okay.
And so, like I don't think I spend any time on my phone. Like, so, do you know that little thing on your phone?
It tells you the
How does it?
time that you spend on it, screen time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Why does it
yeah,
say
man. People in
iPhone
Shanghai,
4?
that screen time is a lot more nowadays.
Well, but that's the point. It's like for the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, like my average screen time is under 3 hours,
hmm
and like some of that's from the kids using it.
Okay.
Now, granted, I carry around like four phones, so it might be like 3 hours on this one, and like 30 minutes on the other one, but you know. And then I get home and I look at my wife's, and it's like 72 hours in one day.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is like, but sometimes using the screen can be useful for depends on what you're using it for. Like if you're using it for a useful thing, then I think that's fine. Like if it's for an important task, I'll say like
I think a lot of it is like I just stare at the computer so much that I just get tired of staring at the computer. I
yeah,
mean, that's all a phone is. It's just another phone, another
yeah.
computer. But no, like as far as fear goes, if it affects my livelihood, yes, and I wouldn't say it's a fear. But it is. I mean, it is a fear. It's like,
Yep.
I mean, I'm not gripped with fear. Like I would think, like fear would be like being scared of the dark or something like that. But it's just like, God, if I mess up, at least this painting will look good in my next house. You know what I mean? Like
hmm
it's always been my joke. At least that car or that RV will look good in my next house's parking lot. Something retarded like that. But
What
um,
do you mean by that? Like why are you talking about your next house?
because I would go bankrupt on this house.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Gotcha.
I guess for someone that's never owned a house.
Yep. Nope. Try not to.
Yeah. Actually, I heard it's a waste of time, anyways. House. I don't know. There's just so much stuff to learn. Like it's like, where do you start? That's the other thing. Um, so I follow this guy on TikTok.
hmm
I feel like I showed him to you. I forget what his name is, but like he calls it like I don't know, overload paralysis or something like that, where like he has so much stuff to do that just sits there because like the thought of getting started on all the stuff you have to do, just like you just think about it too hard. So like there's sometimes where it's like, oh my god, I gotta do this, and you just
hmm
kind of like getting up in the morning, like you're still laying in bed, and you're like, oh, I need to get up, I need to get up. 5 minutes later, you realize you were asleep for like another hour. Ah, crap.
I think for me, yeah, I can understand that overload thing, but and I think that goes back to one of the things we talked about with like mastery is not doing so many different things that it feels like you're overloaded, but actually like honing in and then breaking it down piece by piece. I have to have the courage in order to prove to my wife that I can do what I say I'm going to do. And kind of because part of the thing is like it a lot of people will say, well, I need to divorce my wife or I need to divorce my husband because they're not supportive of me. And I think part of the reason why some aren't supportive is not because and like one of the things that bothers me is like for instance Gary Vee apparently is divorced from his wife of like 20 plus years and he's dating some like good looking supermodel type woman. And I'm
When
like,
that?
dude, that happened back in February. I didn't even realize that. And I'm like, okay, because in my view, like he always talked about how like if you don't have a supportive wife, you should divorce her. If you don't have a supportive partner, you should get rid of them. And I'm like, yeah, if it's boyfriend girlfriend, like I get that, but like it depends on the supportive because it's like what about the other side? Like, what if the reason that they're not supportive, like for my wife, one of the reasons why she's not supportive is not because she's just not a supportive person. It's more along the lines that I haven't proven to her that I can do what I say I'm going to do. Like I haven't done it. I talk a big game, but I don't actually do the things. And so part of it is that, like, part of the courage is like being concerned that she may not support me, but it's kind of like a perce- per, I kind of precipitate it, or not precipitate it. It's perpetual. That's what I mean. It's kind of a perpetual circle where, or a perpetual cycle where, like, I'll be like, I'm gonna do this, and she's like, okay, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then she's like, but you're not doing anything about it, and I'm like, but I'm going to, and she's like, I can't believe you, like why don't, babe, why don't you support me? Well, because you said you were gonna do it and you haven't done it. Like that's the thing, and so like, there's part of it that like I don't do
So
the
maybe
things
you
because I
burnt out
lack
that
that courage,
support. Yeah.
but also even lacking the courage, like for instance this podcast, like maybe I am a little concerned, maybe in the back of my mind I am a little afraid of asking people who I know, or like reaching out, maybe just reaching out to like the most famous podcasters and the most famous people and just talking to them about their process. Maybe to me I'm like, maybe they are too high up, not that I like hold them at a higher position, but maybe just mentally I say that I don't, but maybe like somewhere in my brain I do. And so instead of asking them and reaching out to them and getting their advice, I just am like, I'll just do it later. And so it turns into procrastination versus, just being lazy, but it's actually more along the lines of, I can use lazy as an excuse instead of using courage as a reason to do it. So, yeah.
Maybe.
So, with that fear of the unknown, the what if, the the concern that we've got about what will happen if we choose to do something. So, for me, like one of the things, and one of the things that I've thought about and that's been brought up before is I know there's a lot of questions of like what if, like what if this happens or what if that happens, but like one of the things that constantly pops up in my mind is like being older, like when I get older, like thinking back to this time, like what if I didn't do it, or what if I don't do it, or what if I had done it. And so thinking of this idea of having regret, uh like it's kind of that thing is like I think regret would be something that can overpower the fear of the unknown, like fear of not knowing. Like if you make this choice, if you decide to pursue podcasting, or you decide to pursue acting, or you decide to pursue engineering, or decide to pursue your renting business, or your rental business, the fear of what's going to happen there can be overcome by thinking about in the future, looking back at your life now and saying, what if I had done it? Like regretting the idea of not actually pursuing that and not actually going after that with every fiber of your being, or every chance that you could.
I was just thinking, like, I'm not gonna like allow it to stop me. I'm more or less. I did have to figure out the best way to execute what I need to do because a lot of the issues I have is just capital. I mean, if I had the money, I'd done bought like probably 3 or 4 pieces of land, you know. But they want 30 or 40% down. I might have like 0.03%.
Is this so let me ask you this whole rental thing, is this something that you want to do, or is it something that you feel like that you need to do, or you're kind of required to do?
What do you mean?
Like,
Why would I need to do it?
to get money, or because
To
either to
get
get
money.
money, or because your
Um,
wife is pushing you to do it, or because in your
is
mind you
that
think
is
that
that
this
is
is
that the
going to
second
make.
one? You probably think the second one's more true than anything.
What do you mean the second one?
My wife's pushing me.
Or maybe it's you in your own mind mentally pushing yourself, saying that this is somehow going to fix your marriage, but it's not really something that you're excited about or thrilled to do.
Well, that's a little bit of a stretch, I would
I don't
say.
know. I'm just throwing out random possibilities.
Snowballing or something. Like, good God, you went way out there with that one. No, I've always wanted to own some like kind of property or something, some kind of investment. Um, just trying to find a way to make some money to where it's not just me working. I mean, I care less if I work a job 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. I actually enjoy my job. I actually enjoy a lot of my jobs, honestly, no matter how bad they were. I'd been just as happy just working a 9 to 5.
I got you.
No, it was more or less. Oh no, it's not just a legacy for me; it's a legacy for my kids.
Hmm.
There's one thing I could say that I've done that my dad never did, and that is lived in one place for longer than 6 years. I mean, how many times did we move before we were even in middle school?
No, that's true. I mean, I don't know if that's an encouraging thing, or I don't know if that's a detriment or a positive thing. Like, because I think staying in one place for a long time is positive and negative. I think moving around often is positive and negative, right?
Right,
Like, I
but I
would,
mean, for different reasons. Yes, there's
yeah,
always going to be some. There's always a what if. Like you said. There's always a
yeah.
contingency. There's always something that could have been done better, or planned out better. But you know, just gotta act and hope for the best. Oh, what is it? What is it that quote he says? Having a plan, because hope isn't a plan. That's what one of my professors used to say.
Mm,
You keep on saying, "I hope this will do this. We hope to have this." He's like, "Have a plan, because hope isn't a plan."
mm, interesting.
Yeah,
Are
so
there
I
are
have to
there
just
are there
hope
things
on
that you're
that.
afraid of doing or acting upon
Like what?
in relationship to
I was
this?
I was I was more. I don't know. I was more afraid of letting go of like the past with my wife, like forgiving her or whatever. But since I've had that class, like I care less. I don't know that I necessarily cared so much. It's just like, hey, here's you doing the same thing you said I was doing. So how are you better than me? And why shouldn't I make you suffer? You know what I mean? Just being a spiteful person.
Mm.
It's not so much that I'm afraid of it or something I didn't want to do. It's just I don't know.
Well,
And
the reason
honestly,
the
I don't, I
reason
don't, I don't know like the other things. Like you keep on bringing up, do you want to be with her? I don't know that we're necessarily going to work out in the end of it all.
I mean, that was the reason why I asked you about the business, is because like you
I
told me.
know, boys. I know exactly why you asked me about the business.
You said no, but you said I went off on a tangent, like something
You
out of
did.
left
You
field.
reached out there, so I knew that's what you were talking about. Like I
Okay,
mean, it wasn't. Listen,
so
I was more
it
than
wasn't
that.
that
It
far.
wasn't. Why wasn't it that far? I knew what you were saying,
All right.
but you pulled it out of left field because I never said
No,
anything
no,
like
it's
that.
no. I'm
I've
just
always wanted to
because
have a
the thing
business.
is, you were talking about your
How many
business
times have I talked to you about starting a business?
once, twice.
Okay, so it's not too far fetched to think that I wanted to start a business, is it?
mean, not too far fetched,
Oh yeah, that's all.
but thinking that that is going to fix things or make things.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that. You
I
need to
think you said.
back
I
that
think you
up.
said
Not one person.
if you and
Not
your wife get
one
on the same
person.
path, if you and your wife get on
No,
the
no,
same
no, no,
mindset.
no. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said that I told her multiple times that if we could get over this BS, like we could just do so much more with our lives. Not
Um,
one time did I say we had to get on the same mindset, because I've told her the same thing too. You either get with me, and let's get this crap worked out, or get out of the way.
that's true. You
Not
have said
one
that.
time. Yeah, I know what I said. Don't be
No,
putting
no, no.
words in my
But
mouth,
I
son.
thought that that
Listen,
was.
you've been listening Chinese too much, because I was speaking plain English the other day when I said that to you. I'm sorry, that was uncalled for. That might have been a little too harsh, but
That's okay. You can't speak English very well either, so.
listen, let's wrap this up because I need to go to bed.
Okay. So you're not
That
afraid
being
of acting
said,
upon anything?
yeah, we talked about this. Yes, I am afraid of acting upon stuff, but it doesn't mean I'm going to not do it.
Okay.
110%. Yeah, I
I
mean,
guess like for me, like kind of the concern that I
it
would
is a
have, the biggest
calculated
concern.
risk. You have to make them. You have to. There's no way you can make it through life without a calculated risk, without risk at all. I mean, then you're not living. Without a life without risk is no life at all. Or what is that quote? What is that quote? Oh man, it's not a movie or something. Hold up, I'm actually gonna do some searching. Go ahead and
Okay,
talk about what you're.
while you're searching, I think the biggest thing that I'm probably afraid of currently at this venture in my life is when besides besides being a father, which is kind of concerning to me, kind of a little worried about that. Just because it'd be a new thing, and I'm not sure like how good or bad I'll be at it. Or I guess I don't want to be bad, but how good I'll be at it. But also kind of like with everything going on here in Shanghai right now, kind of this mindset of moving back to the states. And it's not even so much that I'm necessarily concerned about moving back because I know things will be fine. Like I know I will make things fine. But thinking about how my wife feels about moving to the states, like because if we move this summer, like if we move back to the states this summer, like I know that she's going to be kind of like terrified for probably a good 6 months, maybe a year of just being there because of the fact that A, we may be pregnant at the time, B, gonna have to find a job pretty freaking quick once we get there, and like see just a bunch of other kind of aspects of that. And so it's not so much that I'm concerned or lacking courage of moving back. It's more that I lack the courage of being able to handle that situation, with my wife and how to make sure that she's okay with the move back. Period. And so, did you find your quote?
I found that quote, but I feel like I've heard a movie quote that's different. But a life without risk is not worth living. I don't believe in taking unnecessary risks, but a life without risk is not worth living. It's Charles Lindbergh.
Okay.
Charles Lindbergh, man, I don't know, Lindbergh, yeah. I feel like I heard that somewhere else too, but it was like basically, you know, like you can't live a life without risk. Like I feel like Michler might actually say that.
We may have. You may have. Yeah, at some point in time, we did talk about risk. So let's get into this the mindset. So I embrace my fear.
Lies. I'm sorry. Do you embrace your fears? Can you hear
I'll
me?
actually give you an example of me embracing my fear. Literally, just the other night. Just was it last night? 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago, I actually did a stand up comedy online, which
Oh yeah. How did that
is
go?
not good.
Not
It
good.
was not good. partially because I mean it's the very first time I've ever done it. Second of all, I didn't have interaction with the audience as much as like you would with like being face to face or in live. So for me, it wasn't quite as interactive, but also, I mean, it's my first time, like, and I've never done it before. And the thing is it was really enjoyable, and the reason is because I was a little nervous. It was something new, and I normally don't get nervous in front of people, but being that this is a new atmosphere, if I'm giving a presentation, no problem. If I'm giving a class, no problem. If I'm giving a speech, no problem. Stand up comedy, different game. If I'm up singing in front of people, no problem. But I've never done stand up comedy before. And so this was a new aspect for me. And so I was nervous and it was a little scary. And so it definitely put me outside of my comfort zone. And I actually I realized that this is something that I've got to do more often. Not just stand up comedy, but like putting myself out of my comfort zone, because my comfort zone is really huge, and so it takes some special things to like I've got to actually find ways to actually get outside of my comfort zone so that I feel a little uncomfortable and can stretch a little bit more.
So you butchered it, huh?
I didn't it's not so much that I butchered it. Actually, one of the things that's really interesting is I think when you get outside of your comfort zone, cuz like if you're in your comfort zone, everything is perfect. You know how to handle yourself perfectly fine. Like you don't ever have to look at it and be
Yeah, that's
like,
what I call it, your
"Oh,
comfort
I
zone.
well, but it's more along this lines like I don't have to look at it to know whether I did good or not. I know I did good because that's my comfort zone. I know what I did well because that's my comfort zone. But then going and doing the stand up comedy, then I had to like hone in and focus and be like, okay, what did I mess up along the way? Because normally, if I'm in my comfort zone, I don't mess up. Skillset. Number one, foster courage. So you need it's this idea of when you're building a muscle, you have to exercise it. You have to build it. And it's not like if you want to be like really strong, you can't go and lift. If you've never worked out or never lifted any weights, you can't go out and all of a sudden go and lift 100 pounds, right? You've got to build yourself up to that. And so that's this idea behind fostering courage is, yeah, you may not immediately be able
Muscle
to
memory.
go, huh?
Muscle memory.
Right. You well, not just muscle memory, but also like at bats. Like you need to go out there and you need to, but like do a little bit. Start hitting balls off of tees to begin with. You got to start with the small stuff. So if you're trying to ask a girl out on a date, don't let her be the first conversation that you have with a woman. For that day. Like go and talk to other women around, coworkers, classmates, sisters, mothers, like going and having conversations, just women on the street, just going up to them and just talking to them. And
I don't
then,
know.
what do you
I'm
mean?
still trying to think what's outside my comfort zone. Like I'm still struggling. Yeah, I feel like anything, I'll jump at it.
Have you done stand up
Yeah.
comedy yet?
Oh my god.
I'm just saying.
Have you?
Yeah,
Were you standing?
yeah.
Were
What's
you
up?
really?
I was, because you get more energy when you're standing up. So I was absolutely standing up. How about let's see. What about giving a speech about engineering or something like that, or giving a presentation?
Nah, I think I'll be alright.
Have you done it
I've given presentations before.
at work?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I mean that's I mean those are just some things that I think about, that I can come up with right now.
I don't know. I don't know.
Um,
I would say something outside my comfort zone. Just asking that risk of asking for help. Looking dumb.
okay.
It's not really like a comfort thing. It's more like I just don't want to look like a fool.
Well, I mean you're comfortable not looking like a fool.
Yes, very comfortable.
Yeah.
Archilochus said we don't rise to the level of expectations. We follow the level of our training. Train to rise to the equation. I think Michler mentioned this before, and I think you just said it again. Where like if you train yourself to react, you know, if you just sorry, I didn't mean to move my thing. If you train yourself to how you're gonna react, then it's just muscle memory. It's almost like you have to train yourself to be courageous, to act, to react, to
Mhm.
be proactive.
Yeah, and I think part of it too is like even for me, maybe here fostering courage I was made an offer by my company to come back and work with them for another year. So part of it is like
Wait
having
there
the
at
courage to
Shanghai.
go, yeah, to stay here for another year, having the courage to go and talk to them and be like, hey, can we talk about like a little bit more, getting a little bit more money instead of like the amount that you've got now. And so like actually I need to do, actually that is the plan. That is one of the things that I'm doing today is I'm gonna reach out to my boss and just say, hey, can we talk about possibly increasing that, like to like I was thinking maybe like 35,000 UN a month or something like that, and seeing how that could work out and whatnot. Um,
Right?
but yeah, the second skill set is contingencies.
Burn them.
So he says don't burn the boats in every case. Okay. Now,
So
in
like,
most cases, yes, but not all.
I've never burned the boat. I never will burn the boat. We talked about me moving somewhere else, and like I will admit that's kind of a worrisome factor because I don't know that I can necessarily like I have not been able to find a position up there. I haven't been able to find any jobs, and it's like you know I don't know that we could live up there with how expensive it is. I mean, the cost of living has done doubled up there since we lived there last.
Well, surely it's less than what you're living at now.
No,
Really?
it's like uh, how much would it be like 33% more? I would say maybe 50% more than what we pay here.
Wow.
Say that not even the same size house. We're talking like a 2 bed, 1 bath for
Wow.
double the price, dang near.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they don't have income tax, but they have a crap load of like they are proud of their
Properties.
yeah, for real. Their little 2 bed, 1 bath, single wide.
So like, for me, going back to this idea of contingencies, like I've there was a time when I came back to the states, um, back in 2017, and I had a job, and it was a good paying job. It was one I had trained for. Wasn't a great job, like wasn't something that I was thrilled about doing. And I took it upon myself to be like, oh, you know what? Like I'm gonna go and start trying to do social media for these other companies and stuff like that. And instead of keeping my job, which was paying for the bills, which was taking care of my monetary needs, I decided to quit my job, and I decided that I was going to just strike out and try and go and start this business on my own. And
Is that the coffee business?
no, 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 no. I no. There was a tea business that I was trying to do here in China. Screw that. No, this is a social media. Like I was going to do podcasting for different companies, and I was going to help them with their social media and stuff like that. And what ended up happening is basically I burned that boat, and I went out and I was really passionate for like 1 week or 2 weeks, and then after that, just got incredibly lazy. And so then I was like, like maybe I should have kept that job. And so like for me, like having a contingency, I mean that's part of the reason even now, like yes, I want this podcast to take off. Yes, I want to be better at podcasting. Yes, I want to do more podcasting, but I still have a contingency where I'm working at the school currently. I still have a contingency where I would be able to continue working, either at this school or another school that would want me to be there. And so having that plan B is great because it's good to kind of cover your butt while you're still working on whatever it is that you want to work on,
Right.
whatever the
So like that was my
contingency
whole
is.
thing with like moving away. It would be like me staying here and still working just in case it didn't work out.
Hmm.
And like she's like, well, that makes no sense. I was like, it makes perfect sense. Like why give up something we have good? Like I mean it's tough here and there's a lot of drama here, but I mean we still make it every single day. Up there we both have to have a job.
Hmm.
We both have to have work in order for it to work out.
Well, the other
Uh,
aspect too is that it allows you or your wife to be able to do actions, like to be able to go and do things if you have a contingency.
Maybe we can do what we want to do here too. It's just
Well, that's true.
it's a fresh start, honestly. There's a lot of bad blood here.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed picking up and moving it.
Well, and even the contingency could be like just having like a nest egg, like having some money put aside. That way, when if you do move out there, then you have that money to be able to set up just in case, to take care of you for like a month or 2 months while you're trying to find work.
Yep, definitely do not have that. Um, yeah, calculated risk. Yeah. Weighing your options, pros and cons, making sure that you're dotting your T's and crossing your I's before you do actually set sail or before you do
Don't do
actually.
that. Don't do that. Don't dot your T's and cross your I's. Okay.
But you got it, man. Yeah, yeah.
I know.
Okay.
I'm just letting the people back home know. If you do it that way, you're doing it wrong.
But are you?
Yes. Yes, you are.
Because then you're double checking.
Then you're making little T's and really big eyes.
That's right. Itty bitty teeth.
All right.
Uh, yeah. You can't live without risk. You have to make some kind of calculated risk. You have to move back to the U.S. or I don't know, move to a different state. I don't know if that's gonna work out or not.
Yeah. Just can't
Uh,
be reckless about it.
right. You know. And then there needs to be a contingency plan always. Unless the contingency plan is just your crutch, and then I would say burn it.
Right, exactly. And I think that, yeah, I was gonna say that, like, you can't let your contingencies be the ones that hold you back from doing what it is that you need to be doing. Like, if you need to devote more time to your family, then you or devote more time to the business that you're trying to start, or devote more time to your dream, then I think people can make the excuse that their contingency is preventing them from doing that. And so, yeah, not letting your contingency get in the way of what you are trying to do, what you are trying to change about yourself.
Right.
Cool. Good.
I'm good.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. If you are listening on your podcasting app, please subscribe, leave a review or a comment. It lets us know. It helps the algorithms that are out there that exist in the world that we're not smart enough to really know about, but it lets them know that people are interested, and also gets the word out there. If you're on YouTube, click the subscribe button, click the bell. That way, it notifies you when we post. Also, give us a like, leave us a comment below. Uh, Up on the screen now will be the sovereignty set, and also the last video we did on sovereignty, which was mastery. I'm Nick.
I'm Andrew.
Hit him with the
And as
catchphrase.
always, you have an open invitation to our conversation.
Bye bye.